Welcome to Retirement Key Radio with Abe Abish.
No doubt we have all been Googling a lot of different things, a lot of unusual things, more than ever before over the past months, Abe. But are there any words in particular that you've Googled lately? Deutsche Bank reports Google searches for the word inflation have spiked in the last month or so. But why? MarketWatch says inflation predictions are at an 8-year high and warns that the people who will suffer the most from higher inflation are retirees. Abe, why is that?
That's because when you retire, typically you go on a fixed income, right? Your working paychecks stop, your salaries stop, and you fall back on Social Security, annuities, pensions, stocks, rental income, and typically a lot of fixed income, right? And so you want to make sure that that income not only lasts you the rest of your life, but also keeps up with inflation, because we all remember what gas and milk and different things and eggs cost us 10, 15, 20 years ago. Think about how cheap a gallon of gas was, or a gallon of milk, right? Or a thing of eggs compared to what they cost now. I mean, now to buy really good, organic, like really good eggs, you're talking about like $5 to $7 a carton, right? And now gas prices are going up, and milk, is expensive. You're going to pay $3 or $4 a gallon compared to maybe $1 15 or 20 years ago. So we've got to be careful with inflation. Here's the problem though, Heather. Where in the world do you go for safe dollars in your portfolio if cash in the bank and bonds and safe instruments stink in terms of interest rates, right? So that's caused a lot of people to go back into the stock market, take on unnecessary risk. And if you're right before retirement or right into retirement, that's the opposite thing we want to do. So as a certified financial fiduciary, Heather, one of the things that we do, and that's part of our code of conduct, when someone wants a second opinion from us, is to give them a true comparison. Sounds simple, right? But that's one of the things we do. And a true comparison is a comparison of suggested products or investments with detailed explanations of why one is being suggested over the other and comparing one to the other. So we just had a gentleman call in. He lives in Loudoun County. He's in his early 50s. He's got at least a decade until he retires. So, retiring at 65 or so. Lives in Loudoun County, has saved a little bit over $500,000 in investments, but also has several rental portfolios. He owns his own business, has a couple of different businesses, landscaping, a farm, very successful. But in doing a comparison of his investments for him, he is working with a big box firm. He has hired out a big box firm to help him with his investments. And one of the things we noticed is that this firm doesn't have all the tools that they should have available to them. They only have a couple of tools. And because of that, the client is not in a great situation. Specifically, we found out that this 50-year-old has 30% of $500,000. We know what that math is, $150,000 in the bond asset class. And right now we're telling our clients, hey, bonds, you don't want to have a large portion of your portfolio in the bond asset class, because what are interest rates about to do? And what are they doing right now? They're going up. And as interest rates go up, bond values can and will go down. You could actually own an investment where the value goes down as interest rates rise, and that wouldn't be a good situation. So we believe over the next 5 or 10 years that the bond asset class is not going to be a great place. Warren Buffett also just recently said that as well, that the bond bull run over the last 30 to 35 years is over, and that in the future it's not going to be a great place for pre-retirees and retirees to have a large portion of their money in. But we found out that this 50-year-old client has 30% of his monies in the bond asset class. Here's the problem with that. Right? If you just search Google, go to Google and type in, bond ETF, what you're going to find are returns typically in the 1 to 3% range right now, a yield in the 1 to 3% range right now. But he's also paying an advisor. He's also paying a big box firm to manage these dollars. So wait a second. If we're only earning 1 to 3, let's give the bond the benefit of the doubt. And let's say the yield is 3%. Then he's paying the big box firm 1. Well, now he's down to 2. And we still haven't factored in inflation, which is going to be over 2% probably. So once we factor in inflation, And the management fee, we still haven't factored in taxes, and now we're looking at a potential negative return on 30% of his money after fees and taxes and expenses come out.
Wow.
Is that good or not good? That is not good.
Yeah.
Right? So we brought that to his attention, and it's unfortunate because this big box firm only has stocks and bonds available to their clients. They have no bond alternatives that they can look to. They have nothing else in their portfolio that they can look to for their clients for more yield. Right? So that's not a good thing. As a fiduciary firm, we believe a true fiduciary should have the entire menu available to the client and then let the client choose what they want. But if you only have annuities available, if you only have real estate, if you only have stocks and bonds available to you, then you're kind of forced to pick from that limited menu, right? But we believe you should have an entire menu available. So that's the way we operate. We can offer our clients anything in the market, anything out of the market, and then let them choose what they think is best for them after giving them recommendations according to their risk tolerance and according to their objectives and overall plan.
Right.
So that was the problem with this gentleman that we met with in terms of inflation. And we recommended bond alternatives and a more efficient portfolio that's going to work harder for him, even his safe dollars, a potential higher return down the road for him, higher yield potential than what he's in now. He's got a decade, right, till he retires. So he needs more of a return than just 1 to 3 after taxes, inflation, and everything else.
Gosh, Abe, the question, like you just posed and pointed out to all of us, is do you have access to all of the tools that you might need when it comes to planning and preparing for your own retirement years ahead? I mean, inflation is just one of those things that can creep in and do some serious damage to your savings if you've not planned appropriately. That's what Abe and his team are ready to help you with. Create a plan that factors in things like inflation, but not just that. Other items like market risk, medical expenses, and of course, creating that income plan to last you through your retirement years. You can always find more online at retirementkeyradio.com. So, Abe, there's an old saying, you don't know what you don't know. And the National Financial Educators Council says the average American loses about $1,200 a year because of that. Things they didn't know. Abe, you and your team offer several different kinds of services for your clients. What things can you do for our listeners or show them perhaps that might help them better protect their money?
We like to compare retirement planning to climbing up and down a mountain, Heather, right?
Okay.
So you're climbing up the mountain as you approach retirement, as you're saving as much as you can. You know, you're getting up to the peak of that mountain. Let's call it, you're 60, 65. You're getting up to the peak in terms of age, in terms of dollar amount that you've saved. And most of our clients are up to the peak of that mountain. They're at the top, but they need the most help getting down, right? Because descending down that mountain is the toughest thing to do. It's easy to put your head down and max out your accounts and take on a lot of risk and be up when the market's up. But man, you take one slip down that mountain on a rock, on a wet rock or whatever it is, one slip, you lose 10, 20, 30%. You pay more in tax or more in fees and expenses in your funds than you should. And that can really, really hurt your portfolio. So we just had a couple call in from Montgomery County, across the river there in Maryland, and they called in because they're working with a big box firm. I mentioned that before.
Yeah,
And a lot of people kind of get tied into these big name firms, and then they realize, you know what? They're not doing everything they said they were going to do when they first brought us on as a client. They said they were going to do all this. They said they were going to help us with tax planning, with Social Security maximization, with RMDs, with legacy planning. But you know what, Abe and the team, they're really just helping us with our investments. And so 97%, the bulk of all retirement planning and investment planning advice given is on helping clients get up the mountain. But Heather, almost all of our clients don't need help getting up.
Right.
They're at the top.
Yeah.
In terms of age and asset amount, they've saved enough. They're at the top. They're ready to transition into retirement from their working career, and they need help descending and getting down that mountain safely that next 30 years of their life. And what that involves is not just investment management. That's very important, and we feel we do that well as a firm, but it's putting all the pieces together into an actionable plan that they can follow for the next 30 years, where they can create an income generating plan that's not going to run out on them, even if they live to 90, 95, 100 years old. So this couple is working with a huge firm. If I mention the name, everybody would recognize the name.
Yeah.
They're getting investment management, but they knew a lot of things were missing. Here are the things that are missing for them or were before they came to us. Tax planning. This couple's very concerned with the state of our country right now, the national debt, the prospect that taxes probably will go up in the future because they go up and down. Right now, they're pretty low, so pretty much only have to go up. They're concerned with higher taxes on their retirement dollars. They wanted advice and kind of a plan, a strategic plan from their current investment firm on taxes. Didn't give it to them. Called into the show. One of the first things we did was run a tax mapping report.
Yeah.
And what we found out was, man, the next couple of years for them is going to be a great time to look at strategic tax planning because the wife is already retired and the husband is working super part-time and almost retired, and their income is very low. They haven't started Social Security yet. They haven't tapped into their investments yet. And it's a perfect time to look at purposely paying tax now.
Okay.
So we ran that for them and showed them what they could do, how much they can convert and still stay in the same tax bracket. They wanted confirmation on when to take Social Security. We helped them with that. They wanted to do something about long-term care, and then they needed a plan to generate income from all their dollars. They're like, Abe and the team, we've got about $600,000 here. We've got this stuff. We don't know what to do with it. We don't know how much it can generate. We don't want to take on more risk than necessary. These were all the problems that most people have that they had when they came to us. And we helped solve all these problems by putting together a comprehensive plan that not only addresses the investments, but all of these other things that are just as important, Heather.
Find out more at retirementkeyradio.com. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish, NPM number 770-3575.